Crazy.
to me.
Bitch, you saying that this table because of me. Bitch, not you very mother.
Sitting at this table because of me.
No.
You sitting at this table because of me. Bitch, I could have did this without you. I took out the first. Shout out to Bambi. Shout out to going to jail. Because without you, you know,
no. Trying to bitch out
bitch, you ain't now.
Them hoes ain't give a f about you. Them hoes that you in the dust, bitch.
What's the latest song you did? What's the latest song? Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Bye, bye, bye.
Music.
Bye, bye, bye.
Bye, bye, bye. Yes.
Welcome to Atlanta. Welcome to this me. This me. This because of me now. Thank you for your...
Love and Hip Hop Atlanta had a season that fans eagerly tuned in to watch each week to see what Saucy Santana would come up with next. This season was one that fans eagerly were looking forward to watching. We will remember this season for a very long time because it was so memorable. As a result of his unapologetic attitude, eye-catching fashion choices, and candid opinions, the vibrant rapper, singer, and social media sensation had emerged as a star that stood out from the crowd. The journey that he took on the show was nothing short of a roller coaster, as his larger-than-life character captivated not only the audience, but also the other members of the cast. His journey was a roller coaster. Nevertheless, the very same audacious persona, which was brimming with self-assurance and unbridled energy, was ultimately a factor that led to his unfortunate demise. Santana's first appearance on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta was nothing short of explosive. The cameras were drawn to him, his clever one-liners had fans laughing, and his feuds with other cast members kept everyone entertained. To say that his appearance was anything other than explosive would be an understatement. The popularity of his music, which featured a combination of catchy hooks and fierce lyrics, was steadily growing. In addition, his music was becoming increasingly popular. It was impossible to avoid the complications that came along with Saucy Santana's rise to fame, despite the fact that he was a star in every sense of the word. It is impossible to avoid conflict in the world of love and hip-hop. The drama began to develop a long time before things reached a point where they could be considered to have reached a boiling point. In spite of the fact that Santana is notorious for offering criticism, he did not hold back when it came to expressing his thoughts on a wide variety of topics. These topics included his castmates' musical careers as well as their personal lives. It is common knowledge that he uttered the phrase, "Wait, what are you talking about?" in response to me. Because I had the impression that the project you are producing was going to be exploitative, I did not agree to take part in it. This is one of the reasons why I did not agree to participate. Please don't worry, my exploitative is not going to act like a clown in front of them all. Within a short period of time, he was able to garner both supporters and detractors thanks to his sharp tongue, which became his signature. His fiery personality and the other stars of the show came into conflict with one another in a short amount of time. It was at one of the most anticipated parties and extravagant affairs of the season that the tipping point made its appearance. This event promised to deliver the drama that viewers had become accustomed to and cherished throughout the course of the season. On Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, the evening started off in the same way that it does every other night, with sparkling drinks, fashionable outfits, and the anticipation of a conflict. The feud between Santana and one of the show's most prominent stars, who was known for handling drama with a combination of grace and intensity, was already well underway. Santana was already embroiled in the conflict. Over the course of several weeks, they had been steadily increasing the tensions between them, and on that particular evening, it finally broke out. It was a scathing remark that was the spark that ignited the whole thing. What's the latest? The least. Santana's words were directed directly at his rival, and they penetrated straight through, prompting a sharp retort that did not include any expletives. What's the latest, the least? Your assistance is very much appreciated, and I would like to take this opportunity to extend a cordial greeting to you. All right. Following that, there was a tumultuous exchange of insults, each one being more severe than the one that came before it during the course of the exchange. During the time that the two celebrities were going back and forth, everyone in the room was paying attention to them, which resulted in their voices becoming increasingly loud. It did not take very long at all for the argument to reach the point where it could no longer be endured. What transpired when Santana reached his breaking point and lunged at his rival was captured on camera by the cameras. Santana attacked his rival. Security arrived quickly, but they did not intervene until after the incident had been recorded, which was intense and completely unfiltered. This was the case even though they arrived quickly. What had been intended to be a celebration turned out to be a shocking display that was caught on camera and broadcast to millions of people all over the world. A glimpse of what goes on behind the scenes, the producers were frantically trying to find a solution to the problem that had developed into a nightmare of negative press after what had begun as an entertaining season had become a nightmare. Conversations about the future of the show started while they were trying to salvage the evening. They were unable to ignore the gravity of Santana's explosive behavior the entire time they were trying to salvage the evening. Due to the fact that the network's reputation was at risk, it was not necessary for them to have a public relations disaster in order to bring the season to a close. During the subsequent days, the production team started the process of damage control as soon as it was possible to do so. As the cast continued to be kept in the dark, the producers were aware that they were faced with a challenging decision. Should they continue to employ Santana, thereby increasing the likelihood of further chaos, or should they cut their losses and let him have his freedom? Success. After the decision was finalized, Santana was fired from her position at Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. She was fired from her position. The statement that was issued by the network was brisk, devoid of any emotion, and definitive. As a consequence of the ongoing disruptions that have taken place on the show, as well as the failure to adhere to the standards of conduct that are required on the show, Saucy Santana's contract has been terminated. This decision brings about the termination of the contract. The announcement sent shockwaves through the realm of reality television, which brought about the phenomenon. Santana was well aware that his fiery nature could have negative consequences. However, he never seriously considered the possibility that it would result in him being removed from his position on the show. Santana was taken aback and eagerly awaited the news, which came as a surprise. In a series of heartfelt posts on social media, he did not hold back. He criticized the producers for what he perceived to be a betrayal, claiming that they had used his persona for drama. He did not hold back. Instead, he did not hold back. He vowed that nobody would be able to silence him and pointed out the hypocrisy of the industry before he was fired when things became too heated. He also pointed out that the industry was hypocritical. During a post that has since garnered a lot of attention on Instagram, he made the audacious declaration, "They can kick me off, but they can't take my crown." In spite of the fact that a significant number of his followers lauded his tenacity and genuineness, there were also those who condemned his actions, arguing that the situation had reached an unacceptable level of severity. Several of his former castmates, who had previously supported his outrageous antics, took to social media in order to express their dissatisfaction with him. They had previously supported his bizarre behavior. On the other hand, in spite of the criticism and the divergent points of view, there was one fact that could not be disputed whatsoever. Saucy in the fight, Santana was a formidable adversary. It would have been impossible to ignore him, regardless of whether you liked or disliked him. It is important to note that the drama did not come to an end when he was fired. Rather, it was merely the beginning of the drama. But Santana quickly shifted his focus to his career as a performer, despite the fact that he was a resilient individual. In addition to working with well-known musicians and releasing new singles that were extremely popular on streaming services, he has also established a market for himself outside of the realm of reality television. His music videos, which exemplified defiance, creativity, and authenticity, were the ones that cemented his position as a cultural icon. Unwavering confidence, bold style, and passion were all present in his music videos. His music videos were filled with all of these elements combined. He was determined to show that he was more than just a reality television star. He was an artist, an entrepreneur, and a visionary. Santana was determined to demonstrate this. Love and Hip Hop Atlanta was the event that served as the catalyst that brought him to the attention of a more extensive audience. His rise to prominence cannot be adequately defined by a single tense episode or a chaotic exit from a reality show. Neither of these scenarios would be sufficient. Instead, it was merely a stepping stone to even greater heights, and despite the fact that his time on the show came to an abrupt end, there is no denying that his legacy on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta will continue to live on throughout the years to come. His actions caused a commotion. He was the one who brought the drama into the situation, and he left an indelible mark on it. In the event that things go awry, Mark, Saucy. Despite the fact that Santana had demonstrated that no one ever truly leaves the spotlight, the question that remained was, what would he do next?